If you're in the market looking for a fully fared middleweight touring motorcycle, well, the options are quite limited. Limited actually to just one, which is the Honda CBR 650F, the newest version of which we have with us here today. In its latest avatar, Honda gave it a recent design makeover along with some mechanical upgrades. So does it now justify the price tag, and is it really a good touring motorcycle? That's what we're going to find out today on the show. Now, while the changes in terms of design are quite subtle, what you'll notice first is the fairing. If you look at the fairing, well, it's a lot sharper than the older CBR 650F. It gets a lot more creases, and the headlamp here is now a fully LED unit. So yes, not only does it look nice, it also enhances the illumination at night, which was a weak area for the older CBR, but thankfully it has been corrected now. And moving to the side of the motorcycle, one of the first things you will notice is the more exposed area of the engine. So you can see much more of the engine than the older motorcycle, and that is because of the redesigned fairing. The rear too has been given a slight update, and it has now been made sharper, and the tail lamp, again like the headlamp, goes the LED way. Again, looks better at night and improves visibility. Now, talking about the heart of this motorcycle, well, the CBR 650F is powered by a 649cc inline 4-cylinder liquid-cooled engine. Now, this engine, well, it's the same engine that we saw on the earlier motorcycle, but it has some changes, and now it makes about 85 horsepower, which is a healthy number, and a slightly lower 60.4 Newton meters of torque. But don't be disappointed by the reduced amount of torque, because the 6-speed transmission, well, it has got now revised ratios. So what it does is the ratios are much tighter, and that improves initial acceleration. So now the mid-range and the lower rev range is much more tractable than the earlier motorcycle. Now, talking about the real-world performance of this engine, well, to start with, it's a very smooth unit, and the power delivery again is very linear. So even if you are someone who's new to larger motorcycles, you'll not find it really intimidating to ride this motorcycle. It's very easy, and power delivery is again smooth, and once you cross about 5000 RPM, that's when the power really starts coming in and you get a good amount of acceleration. Now, since the CBR 650F is aimed specifically for the function of touring, well, if you're talking about highway speeds, the motorcycle really settles in nicely at triple-digit speeds. The engine remains very smooth, and that makes it a delight for tourers. However, among all of this good thing, the entire good powertrain package, there is one slight thing that is a bit of a letdown, and that's the exhaust note. Now, Honda claim they have made changes to the exhaust system to reduce the back pressure and hence increase the exhaust sound, but despite that, the exhaust still feels as if it has been strangled by someone and is not being able to deliver its total sound capability. Now, when it comes to the ride and handling department in the CBR 650F, well, there are a number of upgrades. The first one includes an updated suspension, and now you get a 41mm Showa dual bending valve SDBV front fork. So that effectively gives you more control. The ride, the handling is much better now. And also, the other advantage of these new forks is that they're lighter, so that reduces weight and overall performance and efficiency. At the rear, what you get is a 7-step adjustable monoshock unit, and there's also an aluminium swing arm. Now, ride quality in the city is quite nice on the CBR 650F. It's got a very supple ride quality, and as a result of this, when you're going over potholes and broken surfaces, well, the motorcycle really soaks it in. The suspension does a great job of filtering out those elements, and very little of it actually flows through to your back, and that makes it a very nice motorcycle to go touring on for long hours if that is something that you are aiming to do. Braking performance too has improved on this motorcycle, as it now gets new dual piston Nissan front calipers with sintered metal pads. The discs are 320mm at the front, and the rear, what you have is a 240mm disc with a single piston caliper. Now feedback from the brakes is quite nice, especially at the front, and the initial bite too is very impressive. So the moment you put some pressure on the front brake lever, the motorcycle effectively comes to a quick stop. Again, stability during hard braking is quite impressive. Now while ABS is standard on the motorcycle, the good thing about the ABS system here is that it doesn't really kick in too quickly. So the way it intervenes is quite progressive. Aiding the handling department further is the steel diamond type frame, which is the same that we have seen on the earlier motorcycle as well. So not much has changed there. So if you put all of this into one package, a singular package, what you get is a brilliant touring motorcycle with improved performance and comfort for people who like to go touring on long distances. Now, one of the most important things for any touring motorcycle is the riding position it offers, and the one on the CBR 650F is very much in the middle of being between sporty and that of a laid-back cruiser. So what you get is a riding position wherein you do not strain your elbows, your shoulders, your wrists and your back too much, and that just allows you to ride for a long time. The seat itself is very comfortable, the cushioning is excellent, the seat width again is quite nice, and that gives you a lot of good support. In terms of features and specifically electronics, well, this is an area where the CBR 650F fares just about okay. What you get is just the ABS that we talked about. Apart from that, the instrument cluster, again, it's a digital unit, but it only gives you basic readouts like fuel, your speedo, tachometer, all of it, the odometer. But what you miss out is a gear indicator that's not there, and fancy electronics such as traction control and other systems, well, those are also missing. So that does take away a bit of appeal in terms of safety from the motorcycle. So it's time to conclude how the Honda CBR 650F really is as a motorcycle, and what it actually is a very good touring motorcycle. So if you're out in the market looking for a machine that offers you great wind protection while you're doing your long distance touring, the CBR 650F is the right choice for you. But just make sure you don't get fooled by the full fairing, the appearance. It's not a complete thoroughbred, it's not a sports bike. So if you're looking for a motorcycle to take to the track, this is not the bike. This is only for long distance touring, and at that, the motorcycle does a phenomenal job. So how much do you need to pay to get this bike? Well, the 650F has now been priced a little more competitively than its previous model at about rupees 7.3 lakh rupees ex-showroom Delhi, and at that price, the 650F offers good value for money as a long distance touring machine and a decent set of features. If you like the video, please hit that subscribe button and share it as well. For anything else from the world of wheels, please log on to www.expressdrives.com. Till the next time we meet again, drive safe, obey all traffic rules, and always wear a helmet when riding a two-wheeler.